Ragin Cajuns football receives their sixth commitment in the 2027 class. Let's meet him here on Ragin Rundown. What's good, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome into another episode here on Ragin Rundown, the show where you will know all things UL sports. I'm your guy, Jamarcus Fitzpatrick, but you can always call me Fitz. And on today's rundown, we will be talking about Louisiana football receiving their sixth commitment in the 2027 class. We'll talk about how another 2027 class member played a key role in getting him to go ahead and commit. And then we'll talk about how his position group is shaping up towards the future. So, on Wednesday, May the 13th. It is now 12:14 a.m. rolling over into Thursday, May the 14th. But on the 13th, we saw Plaquemine wide receiver John Walker V commit to Louisiana. He is 6'1". He is 180 pounds. And according to his Twitter account, he had, I want to say, 50 plus receptions, well over 700 yards as well in his junior campaign, as I'm pulling it up for his Huddle account. Well over 700 receiving yards, 1,000 plus all-purpose yards, 14 total touchdowns. And in his bio, he says he ran a 10.9 in the 100-meter dash, which is pretty dang fast. So he's a speedster receiver that you have adding into the mix. With his commitment, you're now up to 6 total in your class. It started off with Shadow Creek tight end Bryce Coleman. The next was Avoyles defensive lineman Kobe Smith, then Faraday wide receiver Rob Taylor, Westbrook quarterback Tam Anderson, Angleton offensive lineman Noah Ernst, and now John Walker from Plaquemine comes into the mix. So you are now up to 5 offensive players of the 6 that you have that are committed are from the offensive side of the ball, 2 of them being receivers. We'll talk about what that means for the future of the wide receiver room coming up in just a bit. So, as I always do, I kind of laid out and looked back at the path that it took to get John Walker to commit. A lot of these other players that you've had committed to your program were guys that you offered early in 2026 and that you get a quick commitment in March and April and now rolling over into May. John Walker was just a little bit different. So initially, he went to a prospect camp June 15th of last year, 2025. That same day, he received an offer from UL. UL was one of his early offers. I believe he had another one from Grambling. Since then, he's picked up offers from Louisiana Tech, Southern Miss, McNeese, Liberty, and South Alabama. So you gave a commitment over a player that you're in a position battle or in a recruiting battle, if you will, like you all would be on College Football 26. You're in a recruiting battle with teams that are comparable to your level and are in the same conference as you. And you also continue to put a fence around the state of Louisiana, getting players that are within the state to commit to your program as well. So that is a huge lock. So the offer came June 15th of 2025. He went on several other moments where he had unofficial visits. He came during homecoming, and now he commits here on May the 13th. So this was a little bit different, where instead of the relationship being cultivated very quickly, it was built up over time. So as I always do, I reached out to the young man. Any commit that comes to the program, I asked them the same question: what went into your decision in joining the Cajuns? And he said the culture of the program, it's a great program that loves to win and feels like home. Also, my relationship with the coaches and how real they are with me from the start. So very similar to other things that we've heard from all the commits here in the 2027 class. The coaches are genuine. They care about you. They're trying to build a relationship with you, and they're real about how they view you as a talent and what they want to do building towards the future of this program. And so I asked him about his interactions with Coach Tim Leger, who is the offensive coordinator and also the wide receivers coach. And he said interacting with Coach Leger was great. He showed a lot of belief in my ability and has a vision for every receiver, including me. So that's humongous. That it helps you a lot, because now you know that the same vision that your head coach, Michael Desimo, has, which is to build through the high school ranks, the rest of the coaching staff believes in that as well, and is trying to and are trying to cultivate those relationships and build through the high school ranks so you can build towards the future. So you have another commitment. You have your second wide receiver, and one of the other 2027 class members played a huge role in getting him to make his decision. We'll tell you exactly what it was that leaned John Walker, excuse me, that leaned John Walker into the direction of committing to the Ragin' Cajuns. We'll discuss it when we come back here on Ragin' Rundown. Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Ragin' Rundown. We're going to get back into the action in just a second. But before we do, please do me a favor. If you're watching on YouTube, like this video, share it, and leave a comment down below. But most importantly, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you know when we're dropping recruiting updates just like this one. If you're listening, follow the podcast feed, rate the show, and leave us a review because that's going to help us get in front of more Ragin' Cajun fans just like yourself. So John Walker V, the wide receiver from Plaquemine, commits to the Ragin' Cajuns, bringing their class up to 6. And quarterback Tam Anderson played a role in kind of swaying him in that direction. Again, I asked John what it was or who had he talked to that was in the recruiting class that may have swayed him in that direction. And he said that Tam Anderson, the quarterback commit, hit me up saying that you know where home is. Now, as small as that may be, it just shows that the relationships that you've built with these other commits, they're now willing to say, hey, man, if we can all band together, we can build something really special here. And they haven't even stepped foot on campus for you. They have not laced up any cleat. They have not strapped up any chin strap. They haven't done anything for you in the vermilion and white, but they're already helping you as a recruiting tool. And that's really, really big. I know it may seem like it's something very small, but in the NIL era, in the transfer portal era, where it's really hard to retain talent, this program has seemingly been able to do it at a really high level. You know, obviously they lost players last season due to the portal, but I think it was only 9, right? That's not a whole bunch in comparison to other programs across the country, not just at the Power 4 level, but at the G5 level. Some schools are losing 20 and 30 guys at a time. And to be able to keep it to single digits and then being able to continue to build through the high school ranks, that shows a lot. Kudos to Tam Anderson for playing a role in getting a guy to lean a little bit more toward a school, especially as he is continuing to rack up offers that are within the Sun Belt, that are similar to a school like UL, but he's able to stay close to home. He's able to compete for playing time, and he's going to be able to be a part of something that they can build toward the future. So now you're wondering, what does the wide receiver room look like now as we are moving towards the 2026 football season and then looking toward the future of 2027? So as I look at the roster layout that I have as of now, you still have Shelton Sampson. He's going into his redshirt junior year. Landon Baptiste, Kadarius Wade, Evan Stroman, Landon Strother, Trenton Chaney, Russell Babineau, Raji Dennis, Jacorian Norris, Christian Brooks is going to be on campus, and Jaden Johnson. Jaden Johnson is the only senior wide receiver that you have on your roster in 2026. After that, Raji Dennis, redshirt sophomore, Trenton Chaney, redshirt freshman, Sheldon Sampson, redshirt junior, Kadarius Wade, redshirt junior, Russell Babineau, redshirt freshman, Jacorian Norris, who moved over from being a safety, redshirt sophomore, Landon Strother, redshirt sophomore, Evan Stroman, redshirt freshman, Landon Baptiste, redshirt junior. That's it, guys. And then a true freshman in Christian Brooks that's coming in to your program. So you're really, really young in the receiver room looking toward the future. You're only going to lose one guy. If you can retain Shelton Sampson towards the future and continue to build around what you already have, I mean, you've got 2 guys committed already. This may be all that you really need from a depth standpoint of things, because you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 guys returning and 2 incoming freshmen. You'll have 12 wide receivers in your wide receiver room going into 2027. And not to mention, Lunch Winfield will have 1 more year of eligibility. You bring him back in 2027. You have a jam-packed offense, man. A ton of guys that you can throw the football to that have speed across the board. We've talked about in previous episodes that you can check out. Trenton Chaney is a guy that has a lot of speed. Russell Babineau is a guy that has a lot of speed. In Strother, we've heard Coach Dez talked about how he has come into his own as a great receiver. Raji Dennis has a lot of speed. So you've got guys that if you can give them the football out in space, they complement Sheldon Sampson really well. The biggest thing that Coach Dez has said now is just getting them to build up to a level of consistency. So you get a guy that's from your state, you win a recruiting battle, you bring him in, you cultivate a relationship well over almost a full year. You cultivate that relationship and you get a commit from him to be in this position now as you are entering in the summer phase where you're going to have prospect camps very similar to what you had with him last year. So you're going to be looking at guys towards 2028, but now you have added another piece to the puzzle that is the class of 2027. Now, the Cajuns historically have gone somewhere in the upper 20s, near the 30s in terms of guys that they sign in the high school ranks. So we have a long way to go before this class is fully complete. And we have a lot of time for them to hold the rope, to continue to cultivate relationships. John Walker told me that his official visit will be June 11th through the 13th. So I'm sure he'll be somewhere looming around Lafayette. If you're a Cajun fan, if you see him, tell him how great the area is. Make him feel at home because this could very well be the home for him for the next 4 to 5 years of his collegiate career. And the better that he feels, the more that the relationships feel genuine, the more likely he will remain committed and eventually sign to your program in early signing period in December here of 2026. So you're up to 6 commits now. That class is starting to shape up really, really well with some very solid, talented players. And things are only going to be up and up as you build towards the future. 2026 season is getting closer and closer as we continue to talk about so many more topics along the way. You have 114 days as of recording this episode here on May the 14th. 114 days until September 5th against Lamar at home at Our Lady of Lourdes Stadium. And you compete through that season, and you're going to have a really bright future going ahead beyond 2026 with this class that you've built here in 2027. That's going to wrap up this episode here on Ragin Rundown. Short, sweet, and to the point for you guys. If you made it to this point in the video, thank you so much. Please like it, share it, and leave a comment down below. But most importantly, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. If you're listening, please follow the podcast feed, rate the show, and leave us a review because that's going to help us get in front of more Ragin Cajun fans just like yourself. I'm your guy, Jamarcus Fitzpatrick. We'll see you guys next time.